Because of that, I could not really sort that one out. Is the time
Okay.
okay? Is the date okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay then. It's okay then. So we leave it at that. Any day I won't be able to make it, I'll let us know. Okay, so good evening, everybody.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
So we are only four now, but we'll start anyway. Yeah, eventually I was able to get the correct one from the HOD, but I've not gone back to. I've not gone back to the chapter one to see the things I need to do. So maybe if I always have PhD and the master's class today. So and I think I just got it from her yesterday. So but I worked on the chapter two. So let's go on that. I think there's some adjustment to the other one, but I don't know. So I think the only correction I see is statement of the problem, but this aim and objective, they say the same. But I will look through and see whatever correction needs to do with the other one I've done before. Okay, so let's get to it this. Then we'll now discuss. I many of you that are now rushing things to submit to me yesterday and today. It's not like that too. Eh? I have classes I'm teaching here, so but I'll look at them later. So can we see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I want us to discuss chapter 2 today. So this is the one from the HOD. Like I said, I'll go back to the previous thing I've done in the paper if there's anything that is different from what she gave me. Yeah, so but let me just deal with this. So again, I want to look at the what's it called now? The literature review. So at this time we were able to end on chapter one on we're able to end the
Yes,
chapter
ma'am.
one on what's it called now? On the summary for the chapter one. And I mentioned the issue of maybe if you need what do you call it now? If you need to put definition of terms, and I try to
Mm.
explain to you. Like my master students seminar today that they are putting 15 the 15 definition of terms in a paper, and I could not believe it myself. But it's okay. Maybe we'll break it down as we go along, but let's just take the different parts of the essay in full for now. So again, the introduction, which is 2.0 for the literature review. Chapter 2 is normally literature review. Some will call it review of related literature, but like I said, this is the format I had to tell the HOD that is like I didn't get the last version from from her, so she sent it to me yesterday. So the introduction again introduced to the chapter, and it seems some of us also have this misunderstanding of this chapter. What is supposed to give us is just to give us a bit of outline on what we are expected to see in that chapter. So one paragraph or at most two should do it. We don't need to start telling stories. So the other subheading should be able to give us the idea of whatever stories you want to tell. So it's very important that we just take note of that, because I still see that some of us are still misunderstanding what all that I try to discuss with us, because I have some submissions that I have to work on within the week, and I still see that and these are people that actually attended this meeting last week. So I still see that some of us are still misunderstanding what we're supposed to do. So let's just take note of that, and really, if we are not clear by anything, I'm still having the 40 minutes, but anything we are not clear about, and that's why I'm taking it one by one so that we don't have any what's it called now? That any confusion. I don't want to rush it. So I'm not clear about anything. Let us ask. And if I'm taking this time, like I was even in the PhD class when I announced it, I said that it's like last week we had the 8 p.m., but this time is okay if it's okay for everybody. Like I asked at the beginning, then we maintain it like that. I'll do all I can to make sure that I'm available. If I will not be, I will let us know. So this So let's know that the introduction is by the time you do a paragraph or two, you should take off your introduction. You don't need to be telling so much stories. Let the story be told under the subheading where it should fit. So after giving an idea what to expect in that chapter, and of course connect it to the previous chapter by telling us what probably in a line or two, in a sentence or two, what you did in the previous chapter. So that connects it. So when you are connected, just the way you project into this chapter from the previous chapter. So when you have done that, it gives us, we continue. Like I'm going to say, is a continuum. So it's a part of what was there. So the conceptual framework. Now I see that the HOD have moved it from the where we had it before in the overall discussion. So I moved to and or. So before, because I had to tell her that now if you are saying and or, and you put a theoretical framework, it doesn't make sense as if it is what follows it. So conceptual framework, if you have concepts you need to define and explain and expand, then you put that. If you want to use the concept to be your base of analysis, then you should put it. Otherwise, theoretical framework will do. And that's why we say and or. Some decide to put both conceptual framework and theoretical framework, which actually are supposed to help you with the analytical procedure. And that's why we expect you to expand it, discuss it, and tell us why it is relevant and why you want to use it. And we say or, so you may decide to use those conceptual framework or you decide to use theoretical framework. So that's what the and or is about. So it's not compulsory that you must use the two. But since some of us think you must use the two, please just note down your question if you have a question. I will answer it when you finish. Is that okay? So don't interrupt me. Let's just do that so that you can get the main thing out. So whichever one you decide to use. So if you decide to use conceptual framework because you don't have a theory that can meet your analysis, and you are deciding to build up a concept and use it as a frame of analysis, it is allowed. Now, if you decide to have some concepts that you think you need to expand and explain, and they're relevant to your framework, to your analysis, all well and good. However, you may decide not to use them and decide to do theoretical framework and then the concepts within that theory, because you must expand the theory and explain to us. You must give us an idea what the theory is about and then justify why it is what is most relevant to your work. So that's that for this, but I just think I want to make it clear because some of when you just see this, we don't understand the and or that is in front, what it is about. So it means that it is optional, that you can decide to use the conceptual framework or not. So that's what it means. So now I'm explaining to us exactly what it is about. So if you cannot find a theory that can meet what you want to do, or you are aggregating, you can be aggregating also different theories and create something else. In that case, you may have a conceptual framework as the base of your analysis. But if you do not have, and you just have concepts you just think you want to expand upon, because definition of terms, as somebody that submitted to me, I'll give me a go paragraph for definition of terms, for God's sake. A line or two will do. Even by the time I get to line 3, it's no longer definition of terms. So if you think you want to explain and expatiate on those concepts, please bring it under literature review and explain it fully. Give full detail under conceptual framework and let us have it. So that in that way it will be better than for you to be having so much things that are not necessary in your chapter 1 being there. Of course, when I talk to the PhD, is a different ballgame. But again, basically it's the same approach. So of course, what you're having a PhD is an expanded work. So this is that. So now theoretical framework, you need to the black one is from the department, explanation of theories that will guide the analysis. Now you need to expand them. You prevent this theory you want to use at the framework of your analysis here. You expect to explain and discuss it, and show how it fits into your analysis. What I've seen many of us have been giving and that have been giving problem is that most of us actually do not do that. We don't do that. So it means that you must justify why it is chosen rather than any other possible theory. Now, it may be combined with a conceptual frame or used alone, which is what I was explaining before. So it always depends on your research design. So research design will determine many of these things. So you need to think it through. What data do I have? How do I want to approach it? Because if you do not do that, your study may end up being that you are wasting everybody's time. And that is why this is very, very important that we understand these things. So now again, okay, maybe I will mention that when I'm going to the empirical review. Empirical, what is it about? It is about like before, we just said theoretical, literature review. I know that when I did my PhD, what I just did that there's a section, and that was I have almost 100 pages for my chapter 2. I had to break it into 2. There's a section where I discuss previous works, and I don't know why they are putting it after theoretical framework here. Because in my case, I put it first, but I wouldn't know where they got all these things from that they're using and it becomes what they're doing, because you are supposed to discuss those things first, then you have to discuss the theory, because part of what you're supposed to critique is that. And when you have been able to look at what these people are using this theory and they have, and why you think that, whether this is fitting or not, no, so that should have moved you into a theoretical framework. However, this is not the way it is done here. Oh, well and good. But what is the same concept. Empirical review is that you are looking at what other people have done. These people have done something related to that topic you are working on. Now you have to critique it. And that's also what you do with your justification, because you must critique the theory and look at what are the possible theory that can fit, but that you think they will not fit very well. I remember when I was doing my PhD then, somebody came, and I think my first seminar, the person came and I said, this thing you are saying, no, if you look critical discourse analysis, it will fit. I've never heard of it before then. I had to go and read it up. And I saw, yes, it sounds very well as a base. Even though I'm doing a syntactic analysis, but it gives the sociological or contextual thrust to my argument. So I was able to adapt it as the overarching frame of my analysis, within which I'm still doing my syntactic analysis, but I'm making it as the base. So your research is actually will determine, of course, when the same person, when I've done my seminar too, was coming and now told me that, I should now go, and I don't know what else he was saying. I said, no, I'll lose control of this work because I've already gotten this thing tidy. If I start entering to this thing you are saying, I will lose control. The thing will lack focus. He thought about it, he said it is true. So maybe because he suggested one and I accepted it, so he just felt he could not say it should say there. I mean, but because I knew what I was doing, because I knew my focus, because I knew what my intentions were, because I knew the design I have already brought up, I was able to tell him, no, this work will lose focus. And you should, and then I'm going to tell people that it is your work. And I went to tell my supervisor, I said, this is what this person said. Sorry, please, are you people hearing me? Because it's telling me my internet is unstable. Are you people hearing me? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The thing was telling me, notifying me that my internet was unstable. So I'm going to tell you it is your work. What we are to do is to guide you. So let's not lose sight of that. I went back to my supervisor, I said, this is what this person suggested, but this is my answer. He said, yes, the answer you gave is correct. It's my work. And I don't want to, because even when I did the departmental defense, after I finished writing, somebody say, it's not because it's not good to send me back now. You would have said I should go and read this one. I said, I was just praying in my spirit. I said, not be me and you. So go and start this thing all over again after I finished. Because I knew I did a good work. And I am not surprised I got a prize for that PhD thesis. It stressed me, but I did it. It is my work. And that is just it. So don't lose sight of that. We are just to guide you. But if you should have the global picture, you have the picture of everything you want to do. That is very important. So you are to critique. And this is where we normally have problems. What most students do, even that's the experience I'm having in the seminars at the University of Benin here. What most students do is to just do copy and paste or just say this person said it. And the person does not have a final say. Because what are you really doing? What are you adding to scholarship? You should be able to tell us why. I mean, why do we have about 5 revisions of TGG? Because somebody will tell you that when he said that there's no meaning, but why do you have language without meaning? And people raise that. And Kazafodo could develop generative semantics from there. And of course, he was saying that those things are not possible. But by 1980, this paper that said it's not possible to have semantics related to syntax, they are changed the story. And that's why we're not talking about semantic roles now. I mean, when you talk about thematic roles and all of that, so where are we having it? Because of that. Of course, we are having the one that is syntactic, the one that is semantic, and all of that. But the truth is that they are being, and of course, if you look at minimalist program, we are seeing more and more of the semantics coming out. So, and that is just the way it is. So nobody has, you can have a breakthrough by raising queries and questions about it. What was my own interest, the major thing, was that everybody will tell you as if when you talk of TGG, it's a different world. When you talk of SFG, it's a different. But I say, is it possible? Is it that it is impossible for these things to come together? And that became a major issue also for me, a major focus of my PhD thesis. And I was able to prove it because I used both of them, analyze the same data. And then, but I was able to arrive at the same thing. And that is just, so that tells you that it's not really that they're so diverse. So if you are not critiquing, if you don't, no matter even if it is the theory you like the most, but there must be something that's a weakness there. Otherwise, that thing will not grow. So there must be something that is a weakness there that I should be able to take. So when they say literature review, it is about critique, about critiquing what somebody has done. It is not just you just copy and paste. The person has said it, and the person has become the God, the Lord and Master of that matter. It is not true. It's not true. There must be something. Even if it is not you that said it, go and look for what other people have said that critique that thing. Do you agree with them or you don't agree with them? Let us know. You must give a position. We must hear your voice. So it is expected that you critique these works and show how they are contributed to the topic you are focusing on. So is it that there's something you find that you are finding questionable? And that's why also part of what you do is it could be the theory itself. That's your own research gap. It could be theory. It should be the theoretical framework. It could be like the way it is applied, and you feel that it could have been done like this. And that's how you see all this adjustment you are having in those things. That is what causes them. So don't say it is cook, clean, and sinker. No. Even when I teach you, it doesn't mean I know everything. It is not true. So you can even take up what I have taught you and query it. It's okay. Once you give me a superior argument, why will I say it don't make sense? It's not making sense that is that does not make sense. Like a student got up in my class now, I think in the master's class, and was telling me now they're using MENT. I said, okay. I say as a free morpheme, that why are the students saying that it is a banned morpheme? And I said, okay. I didn't say it was stupid, but I just said, okay, give me. And the student tried to say, no, that is used in PG. He was insisting that it is English. They give me a one sentence example. Of course, he spoke in pidgin. I said, so he was saying they were. I said, okay, let me have another example. Is this spoken in pidgin? I said, yes, it's speaking in pidgin. So this thing may be possible as a free morpheme in pidgin, but it may not. And I asked them, what does it mean? They said that somebody is crazy or something like that. I don't know again. So, but I said, but it is not acceptable in Southern English. So even in Southern Nigerian English, it may not be acceptable. And I think he too saw himself, and he said, okay, it is true. He saw it because I didn't say it was stupid. I told him, give me examples where you can use them in word and they make sense. Then I will know that, yes, because language is very, very dynamic, it's growing. So it is possible. But he gave me examples and he told himself so that, yes, Pidgin English is a distinct language. So it may be possible in that language itself. Yes, it grew out of general languages and English. Well, but it is now having its own identity. So if you don't understand that difference, you will be confused. And I think he was able to see reason and his confusion was clear. And so that is it. So you need to critique, to ask questions. So don't say that your teacher said it. No, you are not I mean, I know my niece that was in, was it nursery or primary there? I was correcting because she was telling me, like that is not the way the teacher said it. And they are telling her, this is a PhD in English. So he said it's a lie. That teacher is correct. And which is okay. That is their level. But you now, if your teacher is wrong, be able to say, I mean, you don't need to be rude, but you say that I do not agree with this. And it is fine. It is fine. And that's what will make me to feel as a teacher, I have succeeded because I'll be able to make you to people challenge the position I hold. That is good. So that doesn't, because that tells you I don't know everything. I'm not God. It's only God that's omniscient. And that word is omniscient, not omniscience. So it's okay. So at this place, you let us hear your voice. You identify what scholars have done and what you think they have left undone in relation to your topic. So in this way, you're able to establish the gap. So that's what your even background to study was supposed to do. It should be an empirical study. So it is an expansion of your background. What motivated you? So what is that gap? Yeah, they have done it, and that's why I say it could be in terms of the theory. So it could be in terms of the theory. It could be like I actually did about 6-pronged approach, and that's why my students came and said maybe I was a crazy person, but I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was doing, and I was able to approach it, and I was able to get it. So I was not surprised that my thesis got an award. I worked hard. Yeah, it was a short time. It was focused. It was laser focused, but I was able to do that because I knew what I wanted to do. And of course, I didn't reject help when the help that does not fit my work. I rejected it, but the one that fitted it, I embraced it. So that is where. So this one will always have problem. Many of you, you should please critique the work. Critique it, whether it's Chomsky, whether it's Halliday. If you do not agree with what they are saying, give us that perspective. We want to hear it. So let's hear your voice. So and let us also know, if you are, by the time you are looking at your theory, you must justify why that theory is the most fitting. Because when you look at the 101 theories, you may find that there's some that men that could look like they could fit what you want to your analysis. Okay, today the students were, I think the PhD students class, and then they were talking about different, and somebody was saying, but this thing you are saying is context of situation that you could also be looking at images, and I asked, what theory do you think would have best fit this thing you are saying? They were just saying its context is this, and I said, okay, have you considered semantics that could have actually answered this thing? And I said, it's true. So they were trying to define it, and they were, this would have been most fitting. And that's the guidance. That is the guidance to help you to reason, to critique, to ask questions, to look at it from another angle. And of course, all of them ask, oh, yes, this theory, this semiotic would have been best fitting to that thing. She was trying to agree with somebody else's presentation. But I was able to see that the person you are bringing in, yes, why it is good, but it will be best fitted and more focused with this theory. And which she saw, and she said yes. So again, the summary, what does it do? I have somebody that wrote about 5 paragraphs for summary. Please, that's not a summary. It's not a rehash of what you have done. Give all the highlights. And I say a paragraph will do it, or at worst 2 paragraphs, just the way you have with the introduction. Tell them what you have done, then project into the next chapter. So that is what you are expect to do with your summary. Just the way your introduction told us, this is what you're going to do, this is what you did in the previous chapter, and they connected it to this one. Then let us also, your summary also provide us with the summary of the chapter, and then tell us, let it be succinct and focused. It should give a brief of the headlines covered in this chapter, and as well as help us anticipate what do we expect. A sentence or two will tell us what to expect in the next chapter. And that is it. So you don't need to start repeating all that you have said. Let it be focused. So you can write. So let's use the time. Instead of just saying you want to just fill pages, let's use that time to actually say things that are meaningful and that advance the work. So that is essentially what is it about chapter 2, so that by the next class we'll be going to the methodology. I've tried to start developing, but I'm not going to go into it. So let us discuss this one that I have done. So having said this much, I just pray. I think I tried to do recording them, but I just pray it is okay. I don't know, but I think I can't see. Okay, yes, I see it before them. So that is it. So let me hear from us our questions, our what we think we want to say. So that's that for that. We go to next week. We'll go into the 3rd chapter. Then this. So can we have comments, please? Comments. Do we want me to stop sharing, or you want to discuss anything, any issue you saw in the discussion so far? Do you have comments? Okay, Eric. Eric, go ahead, please.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am, and my colleague. Good evening. I want to appreciate you once again for this wonderful lecture. I want to ask in respect to the of work on this, because just like you were explaining, some of us sometimes when we look at how the work we are going to do, and then we see that it looks somehow scanty, we begin to wonder if it's going to meet up with the requirement of now. Like they said, when I was reading through the advanced research, said that at least dissertation should be between 120 pages to 160. And then I looked at it and said that if my chapter 1 could not even get to 20 pages, and then if chapter 2 cannot cover up to from that chapter 1 to about 60 pages, then it means that at the end of my dissertation, I could be having 80 or 90 pages. Will it not affect the validity of the conditions set by now in respect to dissertation? If the work is not, the chapters are not up to, the pages are not up to the required number as they said.
Okay. So let me answer your question. I've seen that why I told the when I come back, I will write that ENG 1811 course material. They are mixing up dissertation with thesis. That is the confusion that you have there, and I have tried to correct that in the class. If you want to know, I think is the department. I don't know whether the departmental page did not put the number of pages because, or the faculty manual. I remember we put that one there. For masters, it is between 60 and 80 pages. For dissertation is when you begin to, for thesis, that's when you talk about 100 and something. So then I think for project undergraduate, it is about 40 pages. While for masters is 60 and above. So you don't need to be filling in things. And see, let me also tell you, if you actually do thorough research, extensive reading, you have so much. I told you now, just my chapter 2 alone that I had to break into 2. My literature review, I had 100 pages for my thesis. I had 100 pages because my thesis was almost like, because by the time you add then I think, I don't know whether it is 250 or 350. I can't remember. I said I go and check it now. That was what I had at my thesis. So my thesis was not the one I had to be filling this because I did extensive research. It was not, what's it called now? It was not as if I spent so much. I didn't spend, within 2 years, I finished my thesis. My PhD thesis, I finished it within 2 years. But I read to the point that I became lean and everybody was shouting, you want to kill yourself? Of course, I didn't know. Until people were complaining that I became too lean. I didn't know. But that was it. Because I concentrated and I read widely. Very, very widely. So I had a lot to say. Both for and against. I had a lot to say. If you get hold of my thesis, I can tell you. You can say right from page 1. Right from page 1, you will see me be quoting and referring to scriptures and sorry about that. Referring to works that motivated what led to what I did. Of course, I did a more extensive critique of them in my chapter 2. But if you read widely, but what I see is that many of you are in a hurry, but you're not ready to put in the work. I was in a hurry and I put in the work. Most times, when I was hungry then, because I was reading something or thinking it through, the only thing I make sure I have a carton. I don't know whether you know this cabin biscuit. I had it so that once my stomach starts biting, I'll be putting, and I'm not telling you to do that. It's not healthy. It's not healthy at all. I'm not asking you to do that. But I'm just telling you for your dissertation, if you read, because when I read for my master's too, I was every day that I didn't have a job, but I would go from, and I had a shop I was managing. I'll go from morning, like around 8, once the library opened, I'll be there till 12. Then after that, I'll go back to my place where I was selling, and then that's the way I did it. The only thing I knew how to do. Okay, we have just 10 minutes. Okay, so don't let me talk too much. But essentially, you will have a lot to say if you have read widely. That is just the long and short of all I am saying. If you read widely, you have a lot to say. But when you're not ready to read, that's where you have this problem of having to be fixing things up. I'm just teaching you, what I'm teaching you is just how to coordinate. Because you can also read widely. If you do not coordinate it well, you will not present it well. So it's still a problem. So that is just this thing. So, but most times we are not ready to have the patience to read to the point of be able to look at all the angles of the argument and then what do you call it now? Aggregate and present our position. That's usually the problem. So Godwin.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Prof, for the insights given here. Good evening to everybody. From what is presented to us in this literature review,
okay,
there is no literature review as a section here. But I think from what we had initially, probably what has been improved upon, there is the literature review there. And for me, who has done chapter 2, I have that section in my literature review. And I have also been a victim of long and winding summaries and conclusions, probably because I'm actually trying to get the number of words expected so that it will not fall short of what is required. I think I have to thank Eric for asking that question because you have cleared it for us. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So not a question, just a comment, right? Okay. So Fatima.
Yes, ma'am. I'm talking about the literature review not being there as a section.
No, it's chapter 2 now.
Yes, ma'am.
So sorry, let me clear that, Fatima, come. Chapter 2 is literature review. What is the problem? Is it not in the format that was given to you? Chapter 2 is always.
So what I'm saying is that
or
in 2.1
what?
we have
conceptual framework.
2.2, but there is no section that actually captures literature review as a heading.
Then the chapter title is literature review. I think we have that
in the initial.
The chapter title is literature review. That's what I was saying. Literature review is the chapter title. So all these other things are here. So whether you are doing theoretical framework review, or you are doing conceptual framework review, or you are doing empirical framework review, you are supposed to critique. Is that okay? Okay, Fatima.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Fatima, please go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your effort and your support. My question is, please, is there any... Hello?
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 Yes, ma'am.
We didn't hear you.
Okay. Sorry. My question is... Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, your voice is going and coming.
Hello?
Your voice is going. We can hear you now.
We can hear you.
Is my connection? Okay. My question is, please, is there any difference between literature review in thesis and dissertation and the one that we are supposed to present in seminar?
See, essentially,
that's my question.
Yeah, essentially the concept is the same. But why we are breaking it down for you in your thesis or dissertation? It is lumped together in your. Nobody will be expected if you decide to break it down. Oh, we're all well and good, but it is nobody will expect you to do that with your seminar. What we expect you to do is that you'll be able to put them together. You understand me now? But within the
yes, ma'am.
When you integrated them, the important thing is that if you just say, oh, this section literature review, what we expect you to do under that section is to critique works that have been done in relation to what the topic you are working on. That's what we are. So if you dare to put them in this section, all well and good. But I think it will be quite clumsy. It should be quite clumsy, but because we expect to integrate them together, you may do them like a kind of thematic review, so that you put them under different sections, and then you discuss those things that you want to discuss, which is actually what I also am used to actually. But this one, they are putting empirical, they are putting theoretical, and all of that stuff. Anyway, that's what all of us came from a different background, and we have to aggregate these things. I have to insist even on the introduction of that. They are putting preamble, and I mean, it is a lot of bullshit and nonsense. Sorry about that language, please. So anyway, I withdraw that. So I mean, I'm not thinking, I do not agree that you should be saying preamble. Preamble to what? So it's introduction, you're introducing the chapter. So all well and good. So that is just it. I know it took me a bit of time before we'll be able to get that one to be the proper way this thing is presented. But I just felt that let's just get it done right and correctly. So this is it. So if you are doing a seminar, it should not be that It should not be that you will now be putting breaking that as if you are doing dissertation presentation. No, you should be able to integrate them because it's a compacted. I mean, okay, your thesis may be about almost 200 or 100 and something. Then your dissertation may be about between 60 and 80 pages. Then how do you now begin to put in a paper of 12 pages or 20 pages at most? Yeah, you are now going to be doing all this breakdown. You understand what I'm saying? So we expect you to be able to bring that. But
Yes, ma'am.
to learn is that look at very high quality papers that you are reading for your work. Now, how are they structured? That should give you an idea of what to do. Is that okay? But I don't know if the HOD gave you
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
construction, but essentially just write a seminar like you are writing a paper. It's better like that.
Okay, ma'am.
Uche.
Good evening, Prof. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, so we have 3
Prof,
minutes.
thanks so much once again. I sincerely appreciate you, sir, ma'am, for the insights. Honestly, you always make the work easy for us after this kind of class and conversation. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. I'm trying to make it easy for myself too. Okay. Is that all? Is that all? Are you still hearing me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. So
yes,
if
ma'am.
that's all. Okay,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
Fatma hand is still up, so you can bring down your hand if you. Okay, so
ma'am.
thank you very much. So I guess we continue next week. We'll go to the chapter 3. Please just help me by taking note of this. I will again. I think I've tried to record any day. Just always remind me in case I forgot, so that I will record and I'll put this thing out there. I don't know we are how many in my class, but only how many people are showing up. But it's okay. I'll do my best. But after that, if anybody's give me problem, like somebody I've told the person to go and find somebody, but today she was calling me and begging. I don't know what's the meaning of that, but I will do my best because it won't be my fault if I have to send you away. So that's it, because I don't want to have headache. That's why I'm doing this. So God will help us. So thank you very much. So see you guys next week. So we'll go to chapter 3 next week. So see
Thank you so
guys.
much, ma'am.
Okay. God bless.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.